to make sure you all know, the trip that we just went on to eXp was not an eXp corporate event. Let's keep in mind, and Leah, some of this is for you. Keller Williams has profit share, downline if you will. eXp has something called revenue share. eXp doesn't have offices or franchises or team leaders or drama or salaries or nothing. If you want to join eXp, you're an agent. There's several brokers in the state, the main state broker and a bunch of administrative brokers. This was put on, guys, by Brent Gove, who sponsored me into eXp. Brent Gove is the #1 sponsor of agents in all of eXp in the history of the company. And there was 1,300 people here, okay? Now, in Brent's 7 levels, he has over 5,000 people. The company is 22,000, so a quarter of the company is in Brent's downline, if you'll excuse the term. I don't like using that, but for the sake of today, we'll use that. This was a mastermind to talk about how to be better at sponsoring people, to attracting agents to the company, how to do it with class and dignity, and how to not be ridiculous and vomit on people and stuff like that. The main thing that came out of it, which we already knew from June at the Shareholders Summit, they announced we're going international, even though we were already in Canada. The first 2 countries we're going international to are the UK and Australia. They wanted to do that on purpose because there was no language barrier. And what they were looking at is by the end of October, we will be in both of those countries. Let's stop right there. That in itself is a huge opportunity if you're open to doing some work. The reason I'm saying open to do the work is I met 15 people whose checks monthly were over $80,000 a month in revenue share. And typically when you hear these, like back when we were in Keller Williams, and by the way, Leah and Elizabeth, who know Keller Williams profit share is based on profitability of the franchise that you're in, nothing to do with the corporation. In eXp, revenue share comes completely out of the corporate because the 80-20 you pay, the 20% goes right to corporate, right? And the money flows right back from corporate to the agents, okay? So I still make and have made for the last 3 years $40,000 a year or more just from my KW profit share. Okay, so I'm never going to complain. I'm always very grateful. It's good money. It's almost always been enough to almost pay my ex-wife my spousal support, so it works. The reason I say that is when people hear numbers like that, they go, "Oh, I could never do that." All right, but some of these people have only personally recruited 15 or 20 people personally after 2 or 3 years. So it's not, from a number standpoint, not that big of a deal. Does it take work? Yep, just like selling houses does. You've got to be consistent, you've got to make calls, you've got to follow up, you've got to present the webinar, all of those things. The reason I bring up Australia and UK is they're untouched areas, meaning there's essentially no UK or Australian eXp agents yet. The great thing is, almost everybody I know knows somebody that's British or Australian. Someone, I didn't say a realtor, I said someone. So it's very easy, even unlicensed people, right? Jennifer's partners with Denise. Denise is licensed, right? You're studying to get your license. Everybody has an opportunity to do this. You just have to be licensed and be in the company. I already have an appointment with a lady who used to be a team leader for Keller Williams who's British, right? She's been with Coldwell Banker for years. She wants nothing to do with anything. Said no to me before about eXp. Today I called her. I had a scheduled call with her. I said, I just want to let you know we're opening England at the end of this month. I mean, she is all British, like to the bone. 71 years old, still working her ass off selling houses. I said, this might be the answer to you not selling houses anymore. All of a sudden she wants to watch the webinar, she wants to talk tomorrow. Right? So that's what I'm saying. I came back very wound up. But I also came back wound up about several opportunities that are coming to us through this Brent Gove organization. 1 is iBuyers, and 2 is fix and flips. All right? While I was standing in a room talking to a bunch of people, I met the guy who's bringing the iBuyer to eXp. And he goes, wait, you're Northern California? I go, yeah. And he goes, I can send you all kinds of business, right? He goes, do you cover everywhere? I go, everywhere. Stockton, Modesto, Tracy, Sacramento. He goes, great. If you got those areas, we got you covered. So I'm going to be nurturing that relationship. It'll involve some conversation with you two at some point where you guys can take it over. But the company they're bringing to eXp is called either Wedgwood or Westwood, and they are Home Depot's #1 customer in the world. Nobody buys more shit from Home Depot than they do. They did 6,000 fix and flips last year in the United States. 6,000. they have billions of dollars to do iBuyer stuff, right? Where if you say, I want somebody to just make me an offer on my house and give it to me, right? They can handle that stuff. So we've got lots and lots of opportunities coming our way. Every time I talk to anybody, for any reason, something's coming out of it. So I'm going to keep talking about these. I'm going to Italy now, so I will not be going to the convention. I hate missing conventions, but I will. I've already paid for 2 tickets, and I have reserved a hotel room. I'd like you 3 to go, you, and you, but I can't tell you to go or not go. But I do have 2 tickets. They're already paid for. Those would be free. The hotel room and the rest would be your expense. It is in Vegas. It's at the MGM Grand. Because I think there's a lot that's going to go on there. Plus, the more of the team agents that go, the more we build up referrals. Like, we used to go to KW, and I used to buy, remember the Lance Armstrong stickers? Mm-hmm. They came in plastic, and we would just staple our card to them saying, we're all fighting against cancer together, because my mother had just died from cancer, my father, my brother, and then we would just pass them out with our business card and saying, we've already spent the money on your behalf to donate $1 towards cancer research. And that was back before they found out Lance was cheating, but it's okay. The dollar still went to cancer. So anyway,
was missing a body part, right?
That's right. He lost a nut. I mean, give the guy a
He
break.
lost it up because he was doing steroids. That's why you lose your nuts.
I will never touch
see
a
that
steroid,
right
that's for sure.
Yeah.
I value all of my body parts, not just some of them. But what I want to say about that is that there is so much being said. You know, I've been with Casey for 12 years. We've been going to New Skin events, and everything they say at network marketing events, they're now saying at eXp events. They used to say at New Skin, leaders are born at events, right? Which means you go to an event, you get inspired, and you're like, I could be a leader too, and you go back. I've been to millions of events for every company in the world, including New Skin, and I always come back all wound up, and I've never been as this wound up. I had literally, for this week, 13 recruiting appointments or phone calls set up before the week got here because I was so wound up. Not because I want to recruit a bunch of people, because I'm like, people need to know about this. Like, even if they say no, at least I've said I told you. Mm-hmm. Because then when I go off and retire, and they'll go, how'd you retire? I go, well, I sponsored a bunch of people to eXp, and they're like, right?
And Sherry's on.
Oh, you missed the best part. No, I'm kidding. We're recording it. So, here's why I say that. One of the recruiting calls I had were for today. We're going to meet in person. She was calling me while the three of us were in an appointment with someone else about distressed properties, you know, REOs and short sales. And Jennifer looked across the table at who was calling. I said, I got to take this, and said, I know her. So the way we build teams in eXp and in network marketing companies is if you know people together, you don't fight to get them on your front line. Whoever is higher up puts them in the downline of the people that know them. So automatically, anybody that Jennifer and Denise know that I also know, they're going under them, not me, right? Anybody that Gina and I know together that are licensed, if she gets her license, same with you, Cindy. That's why we should always look at our mutual friends on Facebook and Instagram connections and everything. So I got super, super excited about everything from being able to sell more real estate business by us getting more and more referrals, because that's why I don't like to skip events. Remember me, I'm in Northern California. Remember me, I'm in Northern California. And I don't say Fremont anymore, I just say Northern California. And if they're outside of California, they really don't know where Northern California ends and Southern begins. I get calls all the time for Pasadena. I'm like, yeah, I can handle that. It's 550 miles from here. Don't worry about it. And I don't say that, but yeah, but like now we're not saying no to Sacramento anymore. I used to always say no to Sacramento. Now we're not saying no to anything. Like anything within a couple hour drive, we'll say yes to. I mean, between Sherry and Tiffany and Sarah McReynolds and all of us, we're all gonna be rich. So, so for Leah's sake and for people to understand. For instance, Leah, Elizabeth, and Sherry are both eXp agents and not part of the Rick Jihad team, but when the Rick Jihad team needs anything, guess where we go? We go to our fellow eXp agents. Like if we need somebody to hold an open house and she wants an opportunity to hold an open house, she can do it. If we have a lead and nobody's around to handle it, maybe Spanish speaking, we say, okay, Elizabeth, take this, we'll share it 50-50. Same with Sherry, right? We do a lot of stuff together and we have this nobody gets left out kind of thing. And that's not because we're a company, I'm not. It's the Rick Jihad team, the company's eXp, I don't own it. I have a lot of stock in it, but I don't own it. By the way, that brings me to the next subject. One of the speakers up there, because they didn't have corporate people at this event, the founder of the company did show up to talk. And if you've ever seen Glenn Sanford, he's just a big geek with a pot belly. I mean, he'll tell you that eXp is a science experiment that went right. And he's so humble, and he's worth like $500 million right now. So, but he's just a great guy. He said something that was so profound. I want you guys to get this. He said, look at all the companies on the scene that are fighting over technology, that are saying we're the better technology. He goes, I just never am going to be the guy who says that, because whatever they create in their secret laboratories within a year will be for sale on the shelf to anybody who wants it. Because it's moving too fast. I loved when he said that. He said that in front of 1,300 people. He got a standing ovation just for that sentence. Then they had a guy who was a finance major, not corporate, but the guy understands stock and finances at a high level, but he's just an agent in eXp doing recruiting like everybody else, and they got him to stand up and cover this thing like everybody always says, why is your stock not going up? He explained it. He explained it so detailed that I can't repeat it. I don't remember it, but I do remember this. We're in a stock repurchase program, meaning the company is buying back their own stock. He said, when that happens, it's the best time for you to buy stock. And he looked at the audience and said, buy stock and quit selling it to buy your damn ATV.
Yeah, word.
Literally that day, I was over there, I texted it, Casey went into my retirement account and bought $10,000 worth of eXp stock at $8.40. Okay? That we're just gonna put away in my retirement. In addition to what I'm getting, because if you become a icon agent, and Leah, you don't know what that is, maybe, do you know now, Elizabeth? It's when you do 20 more deals after you cap.
Oh, cool.
So eXp is only 80-20 to 16,000.
I know. I have seen some of this. I
Yeah,
have
no
researched
franchise
a bit.
fee.
Right.
So they don't care how many deals it takes you to cap, because we have high volume, but if you do 20 closed transactions after you cap before your year is up, they give you $16,000 worth of stock. Give it to you.
Wow. That's like a free cap for the next year.
Well, it's like you paid nothing that year. Like
Right.
when I cap every year and I do another 20 deals, I've essentially paid into the company $22,000, and then I get $16,000. What have I paid in the company? Essentially $6,000. You can't beat that anywhere. Plus, you own a bunch of stock, and and it's going up in value.
16,000, is that only like 4 or 5 deals too? That's not very many.
No, yeah.
Not here.
The first 2 years I was here.
Too, like,
And it's
water
16,000
treatment,
across the board
27,000.
nationwide.
Yeah, Leah, the first 2 years I was with eXp, I happened to be at the time my cap started again into a $3+ million deal. So the first 2 years I capped on one deal, on my first deal. And then this year I capped on 4 deals, right?
Right.
So the whole thing is you can cap easy, it's getting that next 20 that's tough. In the Bay Area, 20 deals is tough, right? People say, oh, I do 50 deals. You go, do 50 deals in the Bay Area? Dude, anywhere in the Bay Area, that's amazing. So good for you.
What if you're interested in getting multi-license for the states around you?
What's nice is you only pay one cap in all of North America for eXp, no matter how many states you're selling real estate in. If you were in Keller Williams, you'd pay a cap for every
Right.
franchise that you're in all over the country, or any company. But with us, it's one cap for all of North America. So, and a lot of people left KW because of that. People who had
I know
teams in every
Ohio
state.
though too. It's in the middle, so I have to pay 2.
No.
No.
It's not northern.
North
No,
America.
yeah,
North
you just-
America.
you're
Oh,
only
all
paying
America.
the
North
cap.
America, that's
Oh,
US and
wow.
Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So you're only gonna probably still pay the dues for
Right.
Ohio and
Yeah.
everything, but you're not having to pay for the cap there for Ohio. Like for instance, Tiffany's gonna do Florida, and so she still only pays cap 16,000 total.
1/16. So if she does a deal there and a deal here,
It counts.
it's still all going towards the same cap, because it's one human being under the licensing of a brokerage rather than a franchise. So
And then I also pay, for every deal, I pay 5% of my commission towards stock.
right.
So I
that's
don't
it.
even see it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell all of you. If you haven't done that, sign up for it.
Yeah.
They automatically do it. Just
Yeah.
don't ever unsign up for it. It's gonna be the best thing you ever did for yourself.
Well,
I w-
especially if they're going internationally, globally,
Yeah.
it's just like being able to be in an IPO company for an
Yeah.
IPO company. So
So that's what brings me to the next
That's a good
thing.
time to join. So.
So up here, I want you to picture is a company called eXp World Holdings. That's who we own our stock in. That's not eXp Realty. Let me remind you, our stock is in a company called eXpI World Holdings. The ticker symbol is eXpI. The company's called eXp World Holdings. World Holdings now owns 2 companies, eXp Realty Inc. and Verbella. They bought Verbella, which is the company that has our world in it. That is starting to be its own company that's going to be profitable, meaning Stanford University, hospitals, all kinds of universities are wanting to buy that technology so that they can have meetings in there, right? And I have people all the time ask me, why don't they just use Zoom? It's free, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why this technology is so amazing because I'm not technological enough to do it, but they're doing masterminds in them with doctors and there's apparently 17 universities lined up to buy the technology for
I did wanna
classes.
visit the world.
You wanna visit?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, we
that-
can,
that-
we can
that
take you
is
right
something-
there.
Yeah, well, if
We
you
can
go
give
to,
you a lock-in,
I
I'll
would
give you a
like-
temporary
thank you.
lock-in.
Yeah.
I did wanna do that.
yeah, if you go to
Okay.
download.exprealty.com, you'll see an opportunity to send her a
If you ever used to
temporary.
play Doom, you're gonna be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I can share the login.
Yeah.
Are you
I
a
used to play
gamer?
Dungeons and Dragons
Are you
long
a
time ago.
Then you can appreciate if you like live there.
Hit the wall
I'm
all
not a
the
gamer.
time.
All right,
I
so
love it.
let me tell you what's coming down the line. With all this iBuyer stuff and everything that's going on, eventually all of those will be arms. Of course, that avoids any RESPA violations because they're completely separate corporations, even if they're held by the same mother company. Now, let's say you're a Coldwell Banker right now, the manager forces you, coaxes you, coerces you to use their title company, Cornerstone Title, or their mortgage company, Princeton Capital, or whatever they're using, and you get nothing for it as the agent. Well, at eXp, you're gonna get nothing for it anyway, but if you own stock in the company and the mortgage company's doing well, the stock price goes up and you're benefiting, right? I've never been the guy to advocate the company choice, but if I got 100,000 shares and your mortgage company does good because I'm feeding it mortgages, then I'm gonna feed it mortgages because my stock will go up. Well, then they're gonna have what? Title, insurance. All of these things can come down the line with no mess, no fuss, no attachment, and no name that makes it sound like, oh, this is exclusively for eXp agents, because what if some other agent, right? Imagine all the home warranties I buy for my clients that are spent through our deals. What if they had eXp, you know, or didn't call it eXp, but they had, you know, some XYZ home warranty company. I'm gonna personally be sending my business there. If you're on my team, I've never directed your business unless the business came from someone we directed it to. So you guys all get to choose who you use. I'm never gonna be that guy that forces you to do it, but you know, like if,
But you'd be dumb if you didn't.
well, yeah, I mean, if you're owning stock and you're doing those
Yeah,
things. So
totally.
lots of exciting things. The other thing is, because of Denise and Jennifer and a lot because of Gina, I have more time to help you guys recruit. But I'm not gonna make the calls for you, because if I'm gonna make the calls, they're going in my organization, not yours. But if you make the calls, I'll finish it off for you, and nobody can close like I can. And by that, I mean, I'll show you ways, I'll tell you what to say, I'll tell you how to go. The better you know them, the less you have to worry. I came back, this was my script to everybody I was texting. I just came back from 3 days of meetings in Las Vegas. This thing is exploding, we need to talk soon, even if it's not for you. And I mean, probably 18, 19 appointments total since I've been doing that, okay? So it's gonna be really easy, and I think that, you know, I guess I just wanna help everybody have some freedom in their life. I don't wanna stop selling houses, I don't want you to panic about that. I'm not stopping selling houses, I wanna list every freaking house in the country. So, but I'm really excited about it because I've never had this much great vision for my own future, and I'm almost 62. And since you're all younger than that, there's no reason in the world that you shouldn't have a good vision for yourself and your future based on this. Add to that now, then Jennifer and I and Denise sit down today with a longtime friend who's with Century 21 from Daly City, and she used to be a top KW agent, and she's an expert in the REO, short sale, and distressed sale business. And somehow Jennifer's gonna work magic, and even if she doesn't, you know, do anything immediately, I think she likes what we have, we like what she knows and has in her connections. I think Denise, you already have a really good base of knowledge, and you know, maybe we learn enough that we do something with her, or maybe we learn enough that we don't do something weird, and we just create our own distressed business sale under your name, so it's not under another fucking white male, right? So,
Yeah.
That is true.
yeah, so we don't have to call it the Rick G.
I didn't know you were a white male.
I'm,
I
yeah,
thought you were Indian.
I'm an Arab. That's what we just joked about. I'm an Arab, but apparently Arab isn't a minority. You're still.
Middle Eastern's Europe, so. you're
Yeah, no,
white.
they don't care. Yeah, you're a white guy. So the distressed properties, they want to see minority owned or female / minority owned businesses for doing REO business and short sale business. So, you know, we've got Denise, who's, you know, minority. We've got Elizabeth. Cindy, you're way too white. Gina may look black, but she's actually
But she's like.
yeah, I said she's
I've
totally
gotten black, Mexican, everything
Yes.
but white, which
yeah,
I
which she is. She's fucking Italian. Actually. So anyway, I'm excited as heck. I want you to blow up my phone, use me, abuse me, let me do something to help you. Marissa, for instance, who some of you know and some of you don't, who's on the team, she's built up a huge network marketing business in the past, and she's completely fallen on her face as far as recruiting to eXp. She went to the event, came back all lit up. She's got like 9 names for me to talk to. When you go to these events and you start seeing what other people are doing, you're going like, God, if he could do it, I could do it, right? Like, it's always that. It's always like nobody is better than anyone else. They're just applying more effort in that area. And we always get what we focus on, right? What you focus on expands. So, yeah. And as soon as I said that, like, my phone started ringing. There was a lady I've been talking to from Pleasanton, and like, this is the 3rd time that she went silent on me for 3 months. And then all of a sudden she'll all of a sudden reach out and she'll go, okay, I'm ready to talk about eXp again. And then I go, okay, when? And then when I say, okay, when, it blank, just chirp, chirp, chirp. This time she's like, she gave me a date, a time, and I had to move stuff around, but I go, I'll be there, right? So the other thing, if you know people who own small brokerages of any kind, I don't even care if it's...
someone's name that owns a brokerage.
Okay, here's the thing, even if it's a
It's just
franchise, do you know what
independent.
Jeannie Russell said to me as we were leaving? She said, you should talk to the owner of our Century 21. And it was like 6 or 7 of them. Maybe when he's, I said, she goes, what do you think about people own franchise? I said, I think if they're succeeding, that's great. But I said, it's like the water in a toilet. It's always spiraling downwards because you have rents and salaries and you cannot control the economy. That's something's out of your control. I said, if I were him, I'd get out of rents and salaries as soon as I could. I said, I used to own 9 Keller Williams Realty offices and I lost $2 million doing that. I said, he needs to take stock of that, right? So talk to anybody, and I'll do the talking for you, all right? I'll help you do the talking. If you tell people, hey, I want you to talk to a friend of mine who used to own 9 Keller Williams Realty offices and he doesn't own any now, there might be a reason you might want to chat with him. If they own any brokerage, right? And I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
So someone asked me about the stocks and that they were going down, and I was like, oh shoot, that's what I'm ignorant about, the stock market part of it. So we are doing well.
but the
Well,
stock
I'll
market in
stop
general.
so
Wasn't
Yeah.
there. Yeah, but so how do you?
It's not up to you to answer that. Here's what I want to remind you.
Because that's what he was like. Why would you?
When you
of
start
course they have
answering
stock,
that
it's
stuff,
going down.
you
I'm like,
become defensive. When you put them with somebody else, it becomes a third-party validation call. You say, you know what, I'm having so much fun at eXp, I don't pay attention to that stuff. Let me have you talk to my business partner,
I don't
Rick.
have an answer for
Really?
that.
I'm not your team leader, I'm not your boss, I'm your business partner. Don't ever say anything other than that. You can even say my senior business partner because I'm over 60, right?
My senior citizen.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm almost there too, so what does it become?
You're still a business partner.
A
more
mutual
senior?
business partner.
Yeah. So I'm serious. So when you have that talk, like you say, you know what, that's like above my pay grade. I joke around that all the time. I say, oh, that's above my pay grade. Why don't I have you talk to my
And that's
business
the thing,
partner?
was like, I don't care, it's in the, you're in it for the long haul. And
Yes.
you
Yeah,
talk to
and
you.
that, honestly, that's just an added bonus.
Yeah, it's an added bonus,
Like,
I
the
love
other
it.
things you can do, the other benefits you get are blah, blah, so that's what I would
Well,
say.
yeah. But
No,
that's, but
that's just-
I don't know
my
what to say.
point is, look, if she recruits somebody, I get no benefit. But I don't want her looking for somebody to talk to. It's gonna be me. Like, you let me talk to your recruits, right? And we will get them under you. That's the whole thing. I will close better than all of you because I've been recruiting since I was 33 years old, right? So almost 30 years of recruiting. I know how to get people because they're looking for what they're looking for. If you're inexperienced in it, you're gonna talk about what lit you up. No, our job is to find out what lights them up. Right, I've had so many people join, not in directly to me, but down in my organization. They just wanted the 80-20 to 16,000. They didn't care about the recruiting. They didn't care about the stock. 80-20 to 16,000. I'm good. I'll be right there. Oh, and I get some stock for free. How nice. That's it.
What's common? 80-20 to 16,000 is great. What's common? What's not? What?
Oh, most people, like if you look at KW Danville and KW Walnut Creek, it's 70-30 to 28.
It was 80-20.
No, they-
It's 80-20.
Oh, it was 80-20 Okay,
But
80-20, but you pay till 20.
27,000.
And then you have a $3,000 royalty.
$33,000.
Yeah.
Or some people have
Plus-
26,000.
Plus
I
off,
thought we had
Who's
houses.
making here?
plus
I thought we
space
had
rent or
houses
office
and
rent, stuff
others.
like that.
Okay, okay.
Now remember, guys,
And then I
I
had
wanna
a sticky
name some
deal,
companies.
and it didn't help me, and I'm
Next-
like, why did I pay you
listen to
that?
these companies. Next Home, Realty One Group, Home Smart.
One.
3 of the biggest, fastest growing franchises in the world, all offer 100% commissions with per deal prices, right?
Wait, what is it?
I
Now-
really won now.
Do those compete dollar for dollar as opposed to what goes out? Yes, they do. And fortunately, that's all you get. We offer you technology. Well, we get technology. Who cares about that? So let's erase technology off the table. But let's look at the fact that as soon as you close your first deal, you get free stock, right? As soon as you cap, you get some more free stock. If you do 20 deals after you cap, you get more free stock. So like, even if you're not buying anything, you're still getting stuff. So there's,
The bonus.
I met with a guy last night who is the third owner of the company that owns Next Home. He's a third owner. He used to run 2 of my KW offices. He tore it apart bit by bit. I just laughed inside of me because what he was tearing apart was rumors, all the same rumors that everybody else hears. So I use a couple lines. Look, it may not be for you, but do you want to listen to the rumors or do you want to profit from the truth? Let me have you talk to my business partner. He'll tell you what the truths are, not what you've been hearing. You guys could use a line like that. And here's another great one. Hey, if your broker really knew the truth about eXp, do you think they'd tell you? The answer is no, they wouldn't. You're no broker. I mean, Gary Keller made the biggest faux pas in the world when he stood up in front of thousands of his agents, most who had not heard of eXp, and brought up eXp.
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Huh.
Right? I literally had 4 calls myself from people who said, Rick, what's eXp? I just heard Gary Keller talk about it. I have no idea, but I heard you were with eXp. What is that?
Just today, earlier
Like,
today.
you don't bring up the competition's name in a mastermind, right? So, okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you about. Now, here's the other thing I want to tell you about. Most of the people I coach in the coaching business own real estate offices. Did you guys? Most of you knew that, right? I coach 6 Remax franchisees. I coach 4 Exit Realty franchisees. I coach 2 Berkshire Hathaway franchisees, 1 Keller Williams franchisee, and 2 people who own independent real estate companies. All right? You know what they all have in common? Most of them are not profitable. 3 of all those companies are profitable. The other 9 or 10 are losing their ass. The reason I say that is this. When I coach them and I tell them this is what you've got to do, I need you to spend an hour a day, 5 days a week on recruiting and an hour a day, 5 days a week trying to get listings. Not buyers, listings. Okay? That's their job. How many of them do you think do it? That's not important, but less than 3 of them do what I ask them to do. And then they come back. They're paying a lot of money to the coaching company to have me, and they're not doing what I tell them. The reason I want to remind you guys of that is this. If they don't do what I tell them, I stop and I say, you're not doing what I tell you, why don't you tell me what you'll commit to? You tell me what you'll commit to, and I'll go with that. So I had one guy tell me he'll make 45 minutes of calls for recruiting 3 days out of the next 14 before our next call. I go, I'll take it. I write it down. I said, that's your assignment then, right? And then I get a text from him. I don't know if I'm going to be finished by our next call. What? 45 minutes, 3 days out of 14? Poke me in the fucking eye with a fork. It's okay. It's not my money. They're paying me. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. But what I'm reminded of is, what do we need to do? We all, as a group, me too, by the way, I'm including me in this, we always attack the leads that are ready to do something right now, and we quickly dismiss all the leads that need nurturing. I do it too. That's why, ask Gina, I've always got a big pile of red folders on my desk because those are people that I need to nurture about maybe one day listing with me. So I want us to pay attention as a team as to what we're doing with those leads that aren't ready now. Did we check in? Hey, just checking in. You need anything from me? Did I drop the ball? Is there anything I can get you? No matter what. I have something called the ABCs of lead management, and it tells you how to split up leads for an A, B, or C lead, and when to call A, Bs, and Cs every month. It tells you when. So you can just go put that in your calendar and say, it's the week of the 8th, I'm going to be calling my B leads. It's the week of the 22nd, I'm going to be calling my C leads, right? It tells you how to do that in the sheet. I'll be very glad to send it all to you. Yes.
How hard is it to coach people that own franchises when you know that is never really going to work as well as going to eXp? Like how hard
It is
is
the
that?
most frustrating thing in the world,
Okay.
and since it's with workmen, I can never cross that line. And then I had
But
somebody
it must make you crazy.
Oh,
Just
it did,
to,
yeah.
just
And
snap out
in
of
my
it.
organization, I'm always finding, when I'm coaching these people, I'm always asking them, hey, who do we know that's the same? Like, have you checked on your Facebook page? Well, I'm doing that on purpose so that if somebody in my organization in eXp knows them, I can tell them to go after them.
Okay.
Because I'll still benefit, but I could never do it as a workman, because then I would be
100%.
gone out of workman.
I would get set Denise
Can
on
I use your
or-
straw?
Sure.
What's that?
That's
We share germs on
I was gonna say, I'm
You're
a
like my
huge
son.
germaphobe.
Yeah. You and my son.
Yeah.
If my son was here,
he's
he'd,
fortifying his immune
Don't worry.
system by
You
mixing.
need
That's
to
my little one.
expose yourself to
My
some
15-year-old
germs.
Yes.
No, we
Nature's
don't.
strong.
I've always wanted to expose myself to Jennifer's germs, she just won't let me.
Exactly. Yes, really gross.
You know you do it.
I'll drink it. Oh, yeah.
Because like at some point, it's just
Who
like,
knows where that came from?
would you even be able to tell them like, well, you're working in a system that is designed not to work for you?
Well, I can't
can't do
say
it.
that, but here's what's going on. Let's look at my 6 Remax franchisees I coach. One of the 6 is profitable. She has 3 offices and has 100 agents. But she's still struggling on the vine because what's happening with any traditional company right now? The lady that's English that works at Coldwell Banker, you know what she said? Coldwell Banker is being decimated. Well, everything's about value propositions. Why are so many people at Compass? Well, Compass doesn't have anything that great. They're taking 20%, and if you're doing over $1 million in commissions a year, which a lot of the people that work there are, they're paying 200 grand back to the company. 200 grand back to the company. But they feel like they're getting value.
And I think they have the rights to their databases if they leave the company, but the people weren't reading the fine print.
Well, they get all kinds of things, but here's the thing.
They do it that way?
People go to value propositions. What's important to me? I have a very close friend of mine, female in San Francisco, works for Compass. She paid him last year $240,000 out of her commissions. She's a single mom, loves horseback riding, loves her daughter. And if I talk to her about eXp, you know what she says? I'm good, Rick. I love it. They take care of everything. I have no headaches. They do my social media. They do my advertising. They do my flyers. They do my signs. They do everything. Right? Guess what I said to her? I said for less than half of that money, you could hire somebody to do all of that for you and still have the same result and keep 100 grand in your pocket. She goes, again, Rick, I'm good. Right? I said, I don't care. Stay with Compass. I'm just giving you an option that maybe you could keep some of your money. And I said, I don't sell real estate because I'm bored. I sell real estate because I need the money. And I said, so if I need the money, why would I be just voluntarily not thinking from a business point of view? This is me talking to her. She goes, shut up and drink the wine I bought you. That's what she said. So
No,
we
you're
dismissed the
giving her
subject.
cognitive dissonance.
Right.
She doesn't want that.
Yeah, it's what people want, right? And you said it at lunch. You said, well, why do people go to these companies versus these companies? If everybody was looking for the lowest split in the world, everybody would be at the mom and shop down the street that charges you $200 per transaction, right? That's not what everybody's looking for. Everybody's looking for something different. Sometimes they go just because they like the broker, right? Sometimes they go because they like the sign. Sometimes they go because they like the services from the people there. You never know. And people say all the time, well, everybody goes to eXp because they want to recruit. Well, the statistics prove otherwise. Less than 8% of the company has 5 sponsors. 5 people they've sponsored. Less than 8%.
What, in EXP?
Yeah.
That's a
Even though it's one of our,
That's not the reason why
right.
people really.
Look at
join
KW.
EXP.
When we first opened KW in 2001, there was hardly any KWs. Everybody go, Keller who? Like everybody thought Keller Williams
Yeah.
was a paint company.
Yes.
Sherwin-
Yes.
They thought
Yes.
Kelly Moore and
That
Sherwin
would be
Williams
weird.
went
That's
together.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we
too.
started a new logo. We said painting
Kelly
the
Moore
town
paints.
red,
Yeah.
right? Because our signs were all coming up red and white, right?
Oh, that's cute.
So they did that, but guess what happened? People would say, oh, don't go to Keller Williams, they want you to recruit. And guess what Keller Williams is saying now about eXp? Don't go to
Yeah.
eXp, they want you to recruit. I'm like, didn't we already go
Isn't
through
that
that
funny?
before?
Or it's just a video game.
The bottom line is, no one's gonna do that. Now,
Yeah, EXP.
here's the one thing. People don't understand how, they said, how can this company sustain itself? That's a tough question to answer. I'm gonna tell you, but I do not want you to repeat it to anybody. If you need it to be repeated, you let me do it, okay? There's something in the network marketing business called compression. Have any of you heard me talk about this before? This is very important. So imagine these are the layers. This is Rick, this is Denise, this is Dimitri, this is the level. So I sponsored Denise, Denise sponsored Dimitri, okay? Now, if this is new skin, here's Casey, here's Tiffany, right? And here's Mary. Tiffany leaves. In new skin, there's compression, which means Mary goes up to the blank spot that Tiffany left.
Oh, it's like the old pyramid game.
It's, well, only pyramids are actually corporations. I'll tell you why. Every corporation is a pyramid scheme. Network marketing companies are reverse pyramids. I'll show you in a
KW
minute.
does the same thing. If
What's that?
someone leaves and your KW downline, it's the same thing. They move up.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Well, yes, but eXp doesn't have compression. So now let's say I
That
recruit.
money stays in the company.
This is me.
To
Exactly.
pay the bills.
So this is me. I recruit somebody right here. Name, and I'll tell you, this woman's name is Jody. This person's name is Ian. Jody leaves. This space stays blank. All the money that would have gone to that spot goes to the company.
Like when you're Tiffany
All right.
and your sponsor left.
Now,
Yeah,
for
I'm
you to
still gonna try to change
For
it.
you to collect all 7 levels, you have to be 40 wide. In new skin, for you to get all 6 levels, you only have to be 6 wide. Okay? But if you get for me to get all 7 levels, I have to go 40 wide. Well, I have well over 300 people on my 7th level, and I'm not getting paid on any of them because I'm not 40 wide. Where do you think all that money's going that I'm leaving on the table each month? Which, by the way, is right now I'm leaving $29,000 a month on the table, meaning until I get to 40, there's 30 grand a month I'm not collecting. 30 grand a month.
I got
That's a third of
lost.
$1 million a year. Okay.
Let's get a white
You, yeah,
sheet.
you need to write that
Yeah,
down.
okay,
I don't understand why wouldn't there be compression? Why would you lose?
that's what the
Because they
company
don't move
elected
it.
to do.
They
You don't
just
lose
move it.
anything.
Okay.
That's how.
You don't lose anything out of it, because,
You would lose the rest of your, if one.
no,
slot-
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
you said
no,
lose
no, no,
your-
you still get paid all the
always get
people
something
down.
underneath
You just don't, there's nobody in that slot anymore.
It's that person's slot, whatever.
I'll show
So
you.
you did on the direct?
Yes,
Their
I'll be glad
bottom
to.
line, I think it goes to the company.
Right, so let me show you. I'm gonna show you one of my legs, okay? Rick, Rosie, David, Michael.
Okay, so wait a second. But are those your first level? Or,
No.
Or is Rosie
No,
Rick's down
this
line?
is all first level right here. This is one leg, okay?
Okay, so the rest of the people are brought in from the person below them, they're not
Yeah.
your direct.
I brought in Rosie, Rosie brought in David, David brought in
Okay.
Michael. Now, over here, this is still Rick. All this is Rick, right? Here might be Denise, right there, behind you. I brought Denise in. Here is Elizabeth, right there sitting next to you. Elizabeth and Denise are called sidelines. Here's Cindy Cashin, she's right next to you. Cindy, Elizabeth, and Denise are all are sidelines to each other, meaning anything Cindy does in her downline, Elizabeth doesn't share in because she's a sideline, not a downline or an upline. Okay?
But they don't profit, do you profit at all from them at all?
If they do
From them?
business, yeah, if they do
Okay,
business
so
and
they're-
close
they're on your
transactions.
First
First line.
These people are on your first line.
Right.
But then who they have, it stops there. Who they have, you don't get something?
No, I get paid I get paid levels deep
It's just
depending,
like KW.
depending on how, no,
No.
KW get paid, listen to me.
Okay.
KW get paid all 7 levels deep, doesn't matter how many people you've recruited.
Right.
For me to get paid, if like here, let me finish this line. How many am I at right now?
Far higher.
8.
6, 7, no, that's 7. 7 below me.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, all of these people are selling houses,
Okay,
okay? I'm getting, because I have 22 total in my first level,
uh-huh,
I'm only getting, 22 means you're getting paid to the 5th level. So I'm getting paid on Rosie's production, David's, Michael's, Julie's, and Noel's. I'm not getting paid on level 6 and 7.
This is the thing that I found the hardest to understand,
Yes.
and once I understood it, they only count this for you.
Yes, but they only even,
But
here's,
you go this deep, like the
here's-
more, the wider you get here, the deeper you get to go in money.
Exactly, but here's
it's-
what's
this
even
is the
worse
only thing
about
that
this.
matters to you.
Wait, Jennifer, and this is worse about this. I have 38 people on this level.
So you need 2 more and you go 7 deep.
Nope,
Why
because
not?
they
Oh,
only
she's
count the
missing.
people that are producing a minimum of
Oh.
2 sales a year.
There you go.
So my 38 don't count, all that counts is 22. Okay?
so
Is
you
there
have to get your
compression in the
people to
first level?
produce more.
No,
You
this
can
way
always
there's no
get forward
compression
this-
this way,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So now, if Michael left for whatever reason, whatever money was coming to this slot from people below it, just to that slot. Nobody else gets affected by it, neither do I, but any money that was coming from this level is gone. Any money that goes to that level goes to corporate.
Because it was
there's
going
no-
into Michael's pocket.
It was going into Michael's
Oh.
pocket, then it goes into corporate's
Just in
pocket
her
because
pocket.
Michael's gone. Here's another nice thing though. The company, if something happened to you bad, like God forbid death, the company allows you a year to find another licensee to put into that slot. So fortunately, my wife is licensed. We're talking to a CPA tomorrow about maybe forming a corporation where she's a licensed member of the corporation and my license is on there. So if anything happens to me overnight, or if anything happens to both of us, there'd be a way for one of my sons to step in and take over that or whatever, right? I'm starting to worry about that because the money is starting to become something worth taking note of. But what I want you guys to think about this is none of that affects you, but the reason I brought this whole subject up
How
is
does
because
it affect you? So Michael leaves, you're on top,
Mhm.
and now
I
you're
s-
not getting paid from Julie, Noel, and
no,
Sean.
I'm just not getting paid from Michael.
It's just what Michael,
What Michael would have collected.
It's not everything else.
His
It's
percentage.
Okay,
It's
still
just-
rises
It's
out.
just whatever Michael's check would have been every month.
Michael-
Now that goes to
Michael's
yeah,
name
company.
is now EXP.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a
exactly.
good
That's a
way,
good way
yeah.
of putting it.
Okay.
Now, here's what's going on. Elizabeth, here's what's going on for next year. What nationality are you?
Mexican.
Next year, we're supposed to open Mexico, France, Germany,
That's what I'm waiting for.
South Africa. No, don't wait.
Oh.
Here's why you don't wait.
So we're gonna gain market share, that's the
Yeah,
whole point.
exactly. Here's why you don't
The
wait.
recession's coming.
How many realtors do you know that are Mexican by nationality in the United States? Probably a lot.
Yeah,
There's something called NAREP.
yeah.
Oh, show
Right?
off it.
Yeah. Well, here's what the company's looking at. 3 to 5 companies,
Sweet.
3 to 5 countries a year for the next 10 years. That's what the company's looking at doing. So think about that. The more I know people from companies that we might go, well, where did they already prove they're going first? My feeling is that they're going to bring in South Africa somehow, but nobody's mentioned that yet. Because South Africa is mostly an English-speaking country, right? And they've already got UK, Australia. If you look at Mexico, France, and Germany, right? Those 3 countries, their second language is what? English. Almost everybody in those countries speaks both their language and English. So a lot of stuff there to consider. Now, Elizabeth, what nationality is Mireille? Is French. France next year.
Yes.
That's why I wanted Mireille to be here to hear that. Alyssa, what nationality?
Salvadorian.
Central and South America, won't be far down the road. Got it? Yeah.
And KW just started expanding
Yeah.
in Mexico.
There's so much good
But
news
see, again,
that when
it comes down
everybody,
to KW, you're not gonna reap the rewards of it
Yeah.
as much as you would with EXP,
Oh, yeah,
because
no,
we're
there's
not
so
about,
much.
you know, profit sharing, we're about
EXP
revenue
got rid of
sharing,
the
that's the
OPs,
difference.
that's the
Well,
whole point.
EXP got rid of one major thing when
Because
going to
people
foreign
get tired.
countries, Leah, and that's this. When Keller Williams was going into foreign countries, they had to find somebody that would write a 7-figure check to buy the franchise rights. EXP goes in, they're not looking for anybody to write a check, they just wanna find one leader to oversee EXP in that country, and then agents can start joining, because there's no old traditional
Right.
corporate, structure,
Right.
so.
Man, I'm gonna move to one of those countries. Just right now. Why does someone
Vietnam,
show?
Well, I know, Casey and I talked about, we could, when they open
Yeah.
Spain, if they open Spain, Casey and I are moving to Spain.
I
Like, we'll
would
move to
too, like,
Spain until they
perfect
get
my
it open.
country and start.
I'm gonna move to
I know.
Vietnam.
Do it, seriously.
Well, it
Cause
won't be long.
I actually know
I
the
love
girl.
Australia, I'll go to
I know the girl who
No
is
language
already
problem.
the Keller Williams ambassador in Vietnam.
You do?
Yeah, I met her at the convention.
You should be on the phone with her soon.
Do
I'll
it,
get you the
dude.
hours difference, start talking to her, so.
We just
Hour
need
difference.
to
Okay.
send it to travel later.
I know the hour difference,
I
sir.
can hear you, sweetheart.
What's the percentage of Keller Williams agents that end up joining EXP?
Well, for a while, everybody was
I
saying
definitely
it's
heard
a.
of EXP because of Keller Williams.
Right, there's a lot of people who say, oh, we're mostly recruiting Keller Williams agents because they have profit share, we have revenue share. That's actually BS. If you went to this meeting and saw 1,300 people, the thing that stunned me is how many of them were former Remax.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, well, cause
I didn't even
Remax
know
has,
about Remax.
Remax has monthly fees, minimum,
Yes.
$236 an agent every month, minimum, and plus more if you've got a certain program. EXP's
Yeah.
monthly fees are $85 a month, and, so, plus,
They just wanna, well, it was 50.
well, no, it was always
No.
85, it's just you paid $420 once a year, now they split that $420
Yeah.
up to,
It's
it was always the
That's
same, it never went up.
So instead of paying the upfront $430 something for the university fee, they're adding it on. But I have to say, like, you have to factor in, most CRMs are about anywhere between $35 to $100 a month, and you're getting it with KV Core already, so.
Reminds me of a video. Can we talk about KV Cool?
uh,
You watch those videos you said? That's cracking me up.
I think that a lot of KW agents get attracted to EXP because it's still similar language, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable. And Carrie Keller should have never told, I was at the tech meeting when they mentioned EXP, and
Yeah.
that's when it started.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause
And
this
I was
is
like,
fair.
16,000
Any
for cap,
publicity is
what are
good
you
publicity.
doing?
Yes,
You know?
yeah, don't ever.
No, like, that was a year ago, I told you I
Well-
went to the
Yeah.
technology, seminar.
Cause he was trying to announce that, what's the,
He was trying to out
Oh,
you
this is
guys,
already
and then the
speaking, sorry.
lawsuit, when
I
there
was
was
gonna give you
not,
mine.
there wasn't agents who had their license, they were the
That's a
EXP.
bad way to mount another computer, that
Are you done?
makes, that makes, I think.
there's a
Sorry,
trash
I'm
right
not
here that I
keeping
brought in.
No, I'm gonna keep it
That's
as
the reason
trash for
why it
me.
came even, it gave me even more motivation to leave, because they were mouthing
Ooh,
it,
is that the
instead of,
EXP over
instead
there?
of telling me how they were
Yes.
gonna help me if I
Alright.
stayed, you know? Like-
Okay, well, that's all I had to say. Does anybody have questions, comments? I think we had some other stuff to talk about. I gave you some stuff to
So
remind me to talk
technology,
about.
you're getting iBuyer, you're getting a version
Well,
of
we have,
that.
the big technology for me, in my opinion, that's great, are you familiar with Boomtown?
Yes.
I used to be a Boomtown client, and I continue to be a Boomtown client after I came to EXP. I'm now using KV Core at less than a quarter of the price. Now, if you're an individual user, you get KV Core for free with EXP, but I'm a team user, so my package is $500 a month for a whole team KV
How
Core.
many even if you only have one person, I wanna grow it into a team eventually.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So-
you just take the individual for now and you can grow it into a team
Oh, I
program,
see.
you don't need to pay
I
for
started
one.
off as
Now-
an individual
now
when I
what
joined
about-
eXp.
What about the, stealing your lead, I'm still getting market leader alerts, they still have my database.
Oh, what?
It's not true.
Oh, no, don't ever, KV Core is your KV Core, you do with it as you please. I
'Cause
still,
we were in E-Edge,
Yeah.
so E-Edge still sold my information with the promising they didn't, cause I'm getting market leader. And I'm like, how did that happen?
well, you're still
I
at
deleted
KW, aren't
every-
you?
No, I jumped.
Oh, you're not with KW now,
Uh-uh.
oh, okay, I feel
I
more
jumped.
She's
comfortable
a
now,
Realty
'cause that
One,
means
so
Deb's
I
not
was
standing
really,
outside
I
the
was
window.
gonna do HubSpot, I was, I didn't want the 80-20.
Yeah.
So I was gonna do
Right,
EXP, I've
email
talked to a couple of you guys, I haven't
Yeah.
been into the campus
It's
yet, I'm still
before
interested
it's
in it,
like-
only
I'll send you the-
16,000 is not
I'll
that
send
much.
you No, I don't.
My mom and I haven't been in great
Oh,
health
you
this
just have
year,
it.
so I knew I wasn't
Okay.
gonna cap, so
Yeah.
I didn't wanna do the 80-20, I needed my
I was
100%.
just curious.
And I'm just about to buy a flip actually, so I'm in
Good
escrow
for
for
you.
myself right now because I have my 100%.
Oh,
So I got
that's
to
You should
pull
just
the
have
money.
this one
Yeah.
set
But
and
there's
just-
no, he's right,
Mhm.
it's, you get your money, you
It's
get
a
no
forward.
support.
Yeah.
There's no community,
Yeah.
so there's different,
You have
there's,
to do
there's,
it and go off.
it
Have
was
you
a,
been
it
on-
was a test,
Go
Have you
away.
been on Workplace?
it was a test to be
Yeah.
independent or
Oh, yeah.
not.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Connection.
Leah, if
And
you
I'll
like,
I'll share
Leah,
with
if you'd like, come and see Denise and let her show you Workplace, the community there is amazing.
It's a
Is
lot
that
of
the little
community.
world?
No,
It's a
no,
virtual
Workplace is
world.
a,
It's
is
a
a
lot more
Facebook,
support than like Keller. when I
it's
was
the, it's a
in my
Facebook
Yeah.
business
opinion.
tool.
It's
Oh,
like-
cool.
And then you-
So a company can have their own Workplace, which is their own Facebook.
Oh,
There's
okay.
all kinds of different.
It's owned by
It's
Facebook, you just
Right,
buy it
right.
from them or rent it. It's amazing, and there's so much collaboration that goes on.
Also, I have a pocket listing in Pleasant Hill as a condo for 610, 3 bedroom, 3 bathrooms.
Oh,
HOA's
nice.
a little high, it's $490, is what
Ooh.
she's telling me. It's a possibly 1031 exchange, excellent school district, it's on Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, I know right where you're at. Oh, I saw your sign, Leah.
I don't have my sign
Oh,
out
that
yet.
wasn't
For
you.
how much?
Nice try.
Pocket listing, sir,
Pocket.
pocket listing.
She wants, the seller wants it,
It's just not on the
off
market.
market. If
But
it's
how
not.
much does she want it up for?
So we'll start at 610 and see what happens. There might be some negotiation. We just gave the tenants notice, that's why we're going slow. So it needs to line up to when they're out.
Got
And
it.
then if you need,
And then how much improvement
It
needs
was
to be
painted.
done on the
it
property?
needs to be painted. So
That's it?
I want her, no, I think the kitchen
Do you
should
have
be a
a
little
notepad for
updated
tomorrow?
and she needs to paint it.
I need you to
And it
remember
would- it
to
would be
bring
better
back
if they had,
for her,
flooring instead of carpet.
the,
Those are three
for
things.
Denise, the floor,
But it's like, it's a
the,
great rental, if there's
plot
no
map
rental
for the property in
restrictions,
Pleasant Hill that
that's
she
what
has an
now that my
investor
seller
for.
doesn't-
Oh,
she didn't
good.
do it right, she's underwater,
Plot map. I
and
can
so
have that.
they rent
You gotta
these
remember to
out.
give her the plot
The
map
schools-
tomorrow
the
from the
schools
Pleasant
are
Hill property, it was in a roll that
I'm gonna
Marissa
take
supposedly
out
took
the
back to
square
the
footage,
office.
it's nice and big.
How many bedrooms?
Which
Well,
one
it's
is,
just-
it's the one right
Yeah, and then she
downtown,
took
right?
one out for
I
her
know,
customer and said she was
Yeah,
leaving the
yes,
office
it
to
is.
find
You
out
can
for her
walk.
'cause
You
we
can
I
were-
know
walk.
Pleasant Hill
You
pretty
can
well.
walk, to,
The movie theater.
that's right, it's
I
right
like that
there.
little
It's right there, I know
Yeah.
exactly where it's at.
So I
Oh,
could make
okay.
her
Pleasant
really
Hill?
happy if I
All
could sell it
set.
off market.
Like
How many
we-
bedrooms are there?
That's what I'm thinking about. Three,
But
two?
that's
Does
actually
it go right
priced
through
really
you?
well.
Yes.
No.
The one across the
Yeah.
street went for
Like-
620.
light.
But it
What's
had-
the
Yeah,
distance
yeah.
commission you
That-
have
I could
from
eat like
that?
I'm
dessert
not
right
telling
after
you that.
sex.
Oh,
No,
they
they
need
do,
to
yeah,
hire.
yeah,
because
for
so
the
many
fire.
of
Sorry,
them-
sorry,
It's
sorry.
a wish.
And I didn't even really get full, I
No,
stayed
yeah,
like, I
I
wasn't
do.
like last
Yeah,
time I
yeah,
just
yeah.
stuffed my face.
I don't do that.
I know.
I think we-
I think that's a
food there.
mistake.
Yeah.
That's
I
not.
work both sides.
There was
four
I
of us
just work their ass
When it
off.
was me, you,
Totally.
Casey, and Denise, the
What-
bill was
what-
$137.
3%.
This time it was
too.
$89. I'm like, oh, big
Got
difference.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I
Kind of
was
in all
so
the difference in-
unreasonable.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
They
really
just
have
ordered a
this
bunch
year.
more
It's
shit.
Yeah.
weird this year.
Yeah,
how
and
much
I
do you
wanted
rent
to
it for?
share with you,
I can go back to
Leah,
it.
I
that
think we
I
ended up with
actually,
4 hamachi
I'm
that
actually
time.
like one,
Look on
Oh,
the
that's
side.
right.
exam,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
exam, like the actual brokerage exam from getting my brokerage. And then when I met Rick and we talked about
Did
eXp
you guys
and
try the
everything, I'm like,
blueberries? Anybody know?
why am I gonna go and, you know, get my brokerage for? Cause that was
I
my
still want to
reason.
be a broker.
I
But-
haven't got the
And
strawberry
And then there's
cheesecake.
the overhead
Oh, I've never got it.
liability.
No,
Is
no,
it?
I
I'll bring some tomorrow.
Okay.
No, I
You don't
know,
have
but
to.
there's
I'll
that,
keep some
I was an
for you.
entrepreneur before this.
That's
That's
a big
really
box
scary.
from
I
Costco.
hear that a lot from agents.
They sell
that I don't
Quest
want
at
the
Costco?
liability.
I'm sorry, Amazon.
Oh.
You have to
Wait,
do
this
your
is-
job.
But he got like
Exactly.
24, so
But
we
some
have
people are
24
not disciplined enough
of
for
like
that.
3 different
No, but,
flavors.
yeah, I mean, that's just the convenience, you can still get it, but there's no pressure. I mean,
There's
most
no
people,
need for it.
most people go for the brokerage because they want want that 100%, you know, but,
That's nice.
but yeah,
I love
especially
the
if I want
term
eXp at
on
16,000 in California, you
No,
can do
here.
it in a heartbeat with
This
a
one.
few
Is
transactions.
this 16,000 all the country? What if you move? Is
Yeah,
it,
nationwide.
It's just
It's
16.
one company, that's the thing that
Okay.
you know, the thing that I love about eXp is just one company, it's not a
It's not
franchise,
franchised.
it's a corporation. It's a corporation.
You said it was a-
Okay.
So it's actually.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, so
Mhm.
share the
Bigger than
share the
Yes.
earlier.
Oh, no, well, it's not bigger